Ooh, toughest times in my relationship. There was a lot of trials and tribulations. I mean, obviously at the top we had to be our son passing away in 2018.
When our first son was stillborn, that was a tough one.
That was super tough. My dad passing away in 2017.
Mr. Gaston was an amazing man. That's tough, you know, in any relationship. When you start getting to the place in your relationship where people are dying or things are changing, just trying to comfort someone with a loss that you haven't dealt with.
That was tough. Just been a lot of trials and tribulations. Obviously losing clients that was family to me, that was like sons, that was like brothers. You think you would never go your separate ways, but then you learn quickly that it's a business. My name is Chris Gaston, born and raised in Houston, Texas. CEO and founder of Family First Sports Firm.
I'm like, wow, like this could really happen. By the time you're 16, like I was drafted at 19, so it was 3 years away.
I didn't really follow the hype.
It was like, whoa, what am I looking at?
I think I was in like 6th, 7th grade, and ever since then, man, he just took me under his wing.
I didn't really talk about whether my son was gonna go to the NBA or not.
We just didn't have it like that, but you know, he came out, sacrificed.
I didn't have a pot to piss in, man. I mean, I was dirt broke.
You can't go do another free workout because we don't have any gas.
Family first, as you can see, the fist, you know, represents empowerment.
So a typical day for me looks like...
Man, no 2 days are the same. It always starts with a routine of waking up, probably in the middle of the night, because I got a 2-year-old and a 5-month-old, so it starts with some type of prayer routine. You know, me and my wife wake up, we pray, we turn on some gospel music, we talk about our day, talk about what we're doing for the kids, we talk about business. So honestly, our days start around 3:30, 4.
And we value rest, but we are in a business where you want to make sure that you are always giving excellence, giving your best, making sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's. So, you know, that involves making sure that the operational side of things are running smoothly with the team, meeting with our CFOs, meeting with the assistants, meeting with consultants and managers, the graphic design team.
Non-stop calls, emails, talking to different marketing companies, dealing with parents, talking to clients.
Meeting with, you know, someone that's over operations for the back office is different than meeting with somebody who's the director of operations for the basketball.
Talking to teams, talking to people overseas. So it's just, no 2 days are the same, man. It's just, it's a 24/7 cycle of just busyness.
We recently finished our facility here in Houston, Texas, in Missouri City, to be exact. So a day-to-day meeting up until recently was meeting with the contractors. We just had a baby, our 3rd son. He's 5 months. So breastfeeding, breast pumping, freezing milk, getting to the office, making sure the clients are getting in, getting stretched out, making sure that they're getting the strength and conditioning, skills development, food, whatever it is that needs to be done to make sure that the company is running from the smallest detail to the largest need.
It's important to work with my wife, one as a black couple, to show that empowerment. I'm very big on empowerment, showing that you can work with your spouse and do business together, showing the younger generation that it's okay to work with your wife, it's okay to empower. She brings things to the business, I bring things to the business, and us coming together, I just feel like it's an unstoppable force.
I love working with my husband. I grew up around a lot of entrepreneurs who work with their spouse, so both of our paternal grandparents worked together at some point. My paternal grandparents owned a very successful trucking company back in the day. It's still actually around. They've both passed, but they ran a trucking company, so I got a chance to just witness that, as well as having an aunt and uncle who owned a couple businesses together. So I was fortunate enough to, just growing up in Houston, I've seen a lot of married couples work together, oddly enough.
It just happened naturally. She didn't always start off in the business working with me. But she was my helpmate, you know, whether it's ironing numbers on a jersey or going to Kinko's helping me print out things for a tournament, and just kind of snowballed until when we started Family First. We didn't discuss it or talk about it. It was like, hey, this is my wife. As a husband and wife, everything is 50-50. So like we started Family First as co-founders. It wasn't a thought out process. It was just a natural thing for me to do.
I think we faced all sorts of roadblocks, whether it be starting a new business in a competitive industry faces. I think that when you're young and people assume that because you're young, you don't know, it's kind of, I don't know, that part is kind of a little silly to me because age doesn't always determine information, knowledge, experience. You know, there's a great book, Outliers, that kind of taps on, you know, just putting in those 10,000 hours. Some of the roadblocks we face in this business have been a little heartbreaking, you know, that people would stereotype, judge, or I would just say it's a misdiagnosis of the situation as far as what you can offer or what your company is capable of doing and comparing you with others.
Obviously, there's not a lot of us that's in the representation game, and I have heard feedback from some parents, of even a parent that's of an all-star, that told me I would have to cut my hair to go far in this business. But we unapologetically who we are. You know, our logo is a fist for empowerment. We believe in empowering minorities, people that look like us, people that don't have a chance. But that's not to say we're open to working with anyone. We're not, just because you're for something doesn't mean you're against something else. We're for a people. You know, we're all about working with good people, high character people. That's important to us. But that don't mean we don't want to see our people rise. And so some people might have the wrong misconception about that, but I wouldn't say we're getting pushed back because we're black. I think we're getting pushed back because we're something that's going against the industry standard of, you know, having 50 clients and being a big box brand. You know, we are an elite luxury boutique firm, and we stand on that, and we're proud. We want clients that aren't afraid to be themselves.
What I was doing before working with Chris and helping Family First was, we've always worked together throughout our entire relationship. However, outside of the endeavors we were doing together, I was also in philanthropy, which I still am, a Big Sister, Little Sister mentoring program. We're at 14 schools, 13 are universities, one's a high school, and the program has mentored over 5,000 young women. I also was in entertainment, doing a lot of commercial, film, whether it was Academy, Denny's, working with Antoine Fuqua and Toyota commercial. Had the opportunity to work with Will Smith. That was awesome. The reason I decided to put my career on pause and focus on Chris' career was because that's what God told me to do. Honestly, in all honesty, God told me to focus on, you know, helping my husband and being a support system because we were already working together. However, it would require all of what I had for him to make sure he had the support that he needs in this industry.
Some of the positives and negatives of working together with my wife. But one of the negatives is we're both wired to be great. You know, it's in our DNA. We don't know how to stop. And so sometimes, well, not sometimes, a lot of times, it's 1, 2, 3 in the morning. And like I said, we're up talking about business ideas, discussing just different ventures and figuring out how we can make our company greater, how we can be better serve our clients. And so obviously, if you work with someone that you're not related with, you're not gonna be at 2, 3 in the morning in the bed talking about business ideas. You can separate work. So sometimes it's hard to shut it off. So that's really the only negative.
I mean, of course, in any situation there are negatives. The negative is, oh, he works with his wife, is mom and pop. But that's not true. It's sad that me working with my husband and supporting my husband means that I'm not qualified or he's not qualified or somehow we're lacking something or somehow that makes us not as large, you know. when if you historically look at a lot of great leaders, a lot of great businesses, whether it was on paper or not, their spouse was, was their CEO, their COO, or, the vice president, or it may not have been on paper, but we all know the power of, pillow talk. I guarantee Beyonce and Jay-Z and Michelle Obama and President Barack, I guarantee they made a lot of decisions for our country together. I don't know, but that's just a wild guess.
The positives is you have someone that you can truly trust, someone that has your best interests at heart, someone that you're equally yoked with, someone that just has your back at all times. You know that y'all are in the same alignment, mentally, spiritually, physically. Y'all guys are on the same path. That's very hard to find. So that's, it's awesome working with my wife. We don't always agree, but we can always agree to disagree and come to a common bond to what's best for our company and what's best for the clients. Keeping ourselves motivated at low moments, sometimes it's hard. Life is hard. When you lose a client that's a franchise max player, those are hard to come by. When you're going through personal life and still having to elevate the business, those are hard. But prayer, our faith in God, that's what gets us through.
Prayer, fasting, listening to our pastors, just listening to the word of God, praying with each other. I've always written out words of affirmation, because it'll be 18 years this summer that Chris and I have been together. So just, just trying to speak life into each other. And no relationship is perfect, but I would say the good outweighs the bad, for sure.
Just knowing that we've bounced back so many times from so many different things, that's what pushes us through. And that's why it's awesome to work with your wife, someone that, you guys have that unconditional love. No matter what you're going through, you're gonna be able to push each other and lift each other up. The head down mentality, I think I got that from my father. He was a workhorse. He's just on the go. He'll work 2 or 3, 4 jobs, whatever it took to get the job done, whatever it took to keep a roof over our head and keep his kids happy. And I think that's where I got that from.
When Mr. Gaston unfortunately passed away, and then we were going through some other things, like family things at that time, just whether it was death or someone being sick or, just needing a lot from you or whatever the case may be. Chris was able to be a great support in making sure that whether that family member got what they need or, making sure he's checking on his mom or whatever it was, and then still pushing through to be a support for his players. At the time, De'Aaron was getting ready for the draft, so making sure that, he was at those games, or just, I described Chris as being a head down worker, meaning that regardless of what's going on in life, he puts his head down and he presses through, and he doesn't show up any kind of way. He shows up in excellence and making sure that our clients, our staff, our team, our partners, that everyone is getting the best out of him. And that can be exhausting, and still coming home and being a great father and, and being a great husband. That's not easy. And
sometimes we always on to the next thing. We're always trying to get bigger and better and better and better. We're always trying to improve. That we never really do take time to just stop, breathe, and just reflect on everything we've done to this point. And so I'm trying to do a better job of that, of just being in the moment, taking pictures. Sometimes I just walk into this facility and I just look around and I'm like, wow, this is amazing what God has done. Then I snap back out of it and I get a call or an email and I'm right back to it. So that's something I'm working on. I want to, be more in the moment and just be thankful and just be appreciative and grateful for everything that we've done, everything that we've had, and everyone we've had a chance to work with up until this point.
So to address the media and some of the things that were said, I would prefer not to. I would prefer to just put our head down, keep working, and building family first. It's a roster of amazing clients and young stars, and you know, telling the world to watch out for these great people and their amazing families and mothers and fathers who've entrusted not just me and Chris, but our entire staff, our entire team to help build their brand and push them to that next level of success.
Man, it's been so many trials and tribulations on the business side. Obviously losing a client, Darren Fox, who was like a son to me, was like a younger brother or a son, someone I deeply cared about, and you quickly learn that this is a business. So, I mean, it's been a lot of trials and tribulations on personal and business side that too many to count, man, but we always find a way to bounce back and be resilient and figure our way through it.